Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in. Today, we're looking at a pretty fascinating way to tackle some of the absolute hardest parts of running a business. We're diving into the Structural Intelligence Evaluation tool, offered by Creation Unified. They specialize in making complex problems way easier to read through something called structural intelligence. So if your team ever feels stuck, or if you're working harder than ever but just not seeing the right results, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's just jump right in. Let me ask you a serious question. Does your team ever rush into action, spend a ton of money and time, only to realize months down the road that you just treated a symptom instead of the actual root cause? Because if so, you are definitely not alone. Most organizations do this. The stakes are high, the pressure is on, and our natural human instinct is to just do something, right? But acting too fast is exactly where things go off the rails. Think of it kind of like being sick. If you have an infection, you're probably going to get a fever. But treating the fever doesn't actually cure the infection, does it? The fever is just a visible symptom. Well, business works the exact same way. You might look at your dashboard and say, uh-oh, revenue is slowing down. That's a visible symptom. So you might try to fix it by pushing your sales team way harder. But the deeper structure, the real infection, so to speak, might actually be a pricing mismatch, or maybe buyer hesitation in the broader market. Or maybe you're always saying our projects are consistently delayed. It's easy to blame a lazy team, but the deeper issue is almost always unclear ownership or overloaded staff. If you only fix the symptom, the problem is just going to come right back. Okay, so here's our quick game plan for today. We'll start with the danger of solving the wrong problem, meet the tool itself, explore its 9 key dimensions, look at some real-world use cases, break down the results, and finally, I'll show you exactly how you can try it for free. All right, Section 1, solving the wrong problem, and the very real danger of premature action. It's a harsh truth, but organizations almost never fail from a lack of hard work. They fail because they act before the problem is clearly defined. Here's the thing, effort just does not equal clarity. In fact, surprisingly, studies show that over 70% of strategic initiatives fail simply because leaders didn't properly map the problem first. It's like being in a rowboat. You can paddle as hard as you want, but if you're facing the completely wrong direction, you are literally just getting lost faster. Leaders desperately need a way to slow down the interpretation process. You've got to map out a problem before committing your resources, your budget, and your people's valuable time. When operations sees a process problem, but finance sees a cost problem, you need a shared way to figure out what the heck is actually going on. Moving right along to Section 2, meet the Structural Intelligence Evaluation. This is all about moving from vague to clear. It's basically the ultimate antidote for those high-stakes moments when the answer is totally unclear. So, what is it exactly? The Structural Intelligence Evaluation is a structured business tool designed to define the mechanics of a problem before an organization commits to a big decision. And I want to be super clear here. This is not some fluffy internet personality quiz or a generic corporate survey. No way. It is a highly practical, data-driven diagnostic frame. It takes all those scattered, competing opinions in your boardroom and turns them into a crystal clear picture of what is actually happening. When you jump in, the Start interface is incredibly clean and straightforward. It guides you through structured questions rather than asking for some open-ended essay. And honestly, the best part? Moving from total uncertainty to structure only takes about 5 to 7 minutes. It asks you to define the issue, pinpoint the business area, rate the pressure, and honestly, assess your evidence. It's just a quick, repeatable process that instantly organizes your thinking. Let's look at Section 3, the 9 key dimensions. This is how the tool actually breaks down a massive, confusing business issue into bite-sized, digestible parts. The framework relies on exactly 9 key dimensions. Why 9? Because these specific dimensions are perfectly designed to reveal whether your organization truly understands the problem as a connected system, rather than just an isolated event. It's basically a radar for your blind spots. It starts with issue clarity and pressure. Do we even agree on what the problem is? And does this decision need to happen right now? Then it maps out timing and risk right alongside your evidence quality. Like, what happens if we act too early or too late? And are we using actual facts or just guessing? From there, it explores dependencies and stakeholder complexity to see who else is involved, from your vendors all the way up to board members. Next, it tests internal alignment and decision readiness to see if the leadership team actually agrees on what to do next. And finally, it checks recommendation clarity. It is a complete 360-degree scan of your whole business problem. All right, Section 4, Real-World Business Use Cases. Let's talk about when you'd actually use this tool to fix everyday problems.
This framework is absolutely perfect for breaking down everyday business friction. Take internal friction, for example. The visible complaint is usually something like, projects are delayed, people just aren't following through. Without this tool, you'd probably just schedule more meetings, right? But the deeper structural check often reveals the real problem is just confused ownership or some hidden dependency across teams. Or what about market expansion? The surface question is, hey, should we expand to a new city? But structurally, you have to ask, is customer demand actually strong and are we internally ready? This tool separates simple enthusiasm from actual structural readiness, which can seriously save you from making a very expensive mistake.
Section 5, Understanding Your Results. Reading the structure. Once you finish those quick questions, this is the exciting aha moment where you get to see your true structural readiness. The results dashboard is awesome. You get an overall structural intelligence score, telling you exactly how clearly the issue can be understood right now. It gives you this great radar chart to visually spot your weak points and a dimension-by-dimension breakdown. But the absolute best part, the plain English primary recommendations. It doesn't just hand you a random number, it tells you exactly where to focus first. Like, it might literally tell you to strengthen dependencies clarity to reduce risk before you make a move. Plus, if you want to dig even deeper, there is a built-in user guide. This brilliantly illustrates what to do with your score, breaking it down into bands from very high clarity all the way to very low clarity. It even maps your specific results to the exact service pathway you might need next, like a structural diagnostic for messy internal issues or structural scenario intelligence for future uncertainty. There is zero confusing jargon here, just a very clear map of your next steps. I really want to leave you with the core mantra of this entire approach. When the answer is unclear, define the structure first. It is such a simple, yet totally profound shift in thinking. A better defined problem gives leaders the absolute best chance of choosing the right response every single time. And that brings us to Section 6. Try it for free. Take action today, but, the right kind of action. The kind that actually starts with clarity. Seriously, you do not have to keep guessing, and you don't have to keep putting band-aids on symptoms while the real infection just gets worse. I highly, highly encourage you as a business leader to stop right now and go visit creationunified.com. You can test the structural intelligence evaluation tool for yourself, completely for free. It literally only takes a few minutes, but the clarity it provides could save your organization countless hours and dollars. So, what structural issues are hiding in your organization right now? Are you still fighting visible symptoms, or are you ready to uncover the deeper truth? Head over to creationunified.com to find your structure and find out what is really slowing your team down. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.